What's up, pool enthusiasts? Welcome back to the Only Pools podcast. I'm TK, the guy who brings snacks to every pool party but somehow ends up in charge of the grill.
And I'm Brian, owner of AquaServ Pools, the guy who shows up to a pool party and can't relax because I'm mentally expecting the water chemistry.
You down with OPP? Yeah, you know me. You down with OPP? Yeah, you know me. You down with OPP? Yeah, you know me. Dive into discussions, no topics too small. From kiddie pools to water parks, we cover it all. We got pool parties and cannonballs too. If it's about water, we talking to you. Interviews with experts and stories to share. From poolside barbecues to water care. We got tips and tricks to keep your pool right. Listen in the morning or at the late night. You down with OPP? Only Pools Podcast. You down with OPP? Every last homie. Only Pools Podcast. Let's go.
Classic Brian. Alright, today we're talking about pool party prep and how to get your pool ready to be the all-star show you want it to be. And don't worry, we're not going to let Brian turn this into a lecture about pH levels.
I make no promises, but seriously, if you're throwing a pool party, the pool's got to shine. Be clean, safe, and ready for action.
So step one, clean the pool, right? That's the bare minimum. Asking for everyone who forgot they invited people over this weekend.
Bare minimum, skim the surface to get rid of leaves and debris. Brush the walls if you see buildup and vacuum the bottom. And make sure the water is circulating. Run your pump for at least a few hours before people show up.
Alright, so basically no one wants to cannonball into a pool of floating bugs and mystery leaves. Got it. But let's talk about the fun stuff. Decorations. I'm thinking inflatables, flamingos, donuts, maybe one of those floating beer pong tables.
Inflatables are fun, but don't go overboard. Too many in your pool will look like a clearance sale at a pool toy store. Plus, they can block the skimmers and mess with circulation.
Okay, so fewer flamingos, more space to swim. Got it. Now let's talk about food. Should we avoid snacks that might wreck the pool, like Dorito dust and guacamole considered biohazardous?
I wouldn't call them biohazards, but yeah, keep food away from the pool. Greasy fingers and pool water don't mix. And the last thing you want is soggy chips floating around.
Pro tip, designated snack zones. Also, maybe skip chocolate in your pool. Nothing ruins the vibe like someone thinking there's a floating surprise in the water.
Exactly, and let's not forget drinks. If you're serving cocktails or sodas, avoid glass bottles. Broken glass near a pool is a nightmare.
Plastic cups for the win. Alright, now let's talk about safety because every good party has a balance of fun with responsibility. What are your safety tips?
First, make sure you have enough supervision, especially if kids are involved. Second, keep a first aid kit handy, just in case. And third, remind guests about the deep end and any diving rules.
Brian's being polite, but I'll say it. No one wants to deal with your cousin Todd trying to do backflips into 3 feet of water. Don't be a Todd.
Exactly. And speaking of safety, check your pool's chemical levels the day before the party. You don't want the chlorine too high or too low. It can irritate people's skin and eyes.
Right. No one wants to leave your party looking like they just chopped onions for 3 hours. But let's talk about post-party cleanup because no one ever thinks about this part.
True. After the party, skim the pool again. Clean out the skimmer basket and run your pump overnight. If the water looks cloudy, shock the pool to bring it back to normal.
So basically, after the fun comes the work. But hey, that's the price of being the king or queen of pool parties.
That's right. A little prep and cleanup go a long way. And don't forget, if something feels off with your pool, call a pro. It's better to fix small issues before they become big issues.
Wise words from the pool guru himself. All right, folks, let's wrap this episode up of the Only Pools podcast. And if you're throwing a party this summer, remember, clean pools, no glass, and for the love of chlorine, keep Todd out of the deep end.
And call AquaServ if you need help getting your pool party ready. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time. Or I'll see you in a few minutes. Welcome back to The Pool Point, where I tackle life's awkward moments head on, because someone has to do it, and it might as well be me. Today's topic, walking in the backyard and finding a nude sunbather. Now, let me set the scene for you. It's a normal day. You're the pool guy or pool gal. You got your skimmer, your chemicals, and your determination to fight the good fight against algae. You open up the gate, step into the yard, and boom, There they are, spread out like a Thanksgiving dinner. Only there's no turkey, just bare cheeks. Let me tell you folks, nothing prepares you for that moment. Not the job training, not the 5 cups of coffee you had that morning. The human brain goes through 5 stages of processing. First confusion, and then shock, then discomfort, maybe a little silent prayer, and finally, the panic decision of whether to say something or just back away like you're sneaking out of a bear's den. And here's the thing, they always act like you're the problem. Oh, I didn't realize you'd be here so early, as they casually grab a towel and usually 2 sizes too small. I'm not early, you're just undressed for the occasion, specifically the occasion called Tuesday. Now, I'm not here to judge anyone's lifestyle. You want to sunbathe in your birthday suit? Go for it. It's your backyard. But maybe, just maybe, give a heads up to the guy whose job involves walking into your personal space with a pool net and 0 mental preparation. You know what's wild? This isn't a one-time thing. Pool guys talk. This happens more often than you think. It's like there's a secret club of people whose idea of a good time is catching rays and scaring the chlorine out of the service crew. Here's my theory. Nude sunbathing is less about the tan lines and more about power dynamics. Think about it. The homeowners out there, fully exposed, knowing full well the pool guy can't say anything without sounding like a weirdo. It's a silent standoff, like the Cold War. Except the only thing cold is the metal chair that they're sitting in. But here's where it gets political. The whole situation is a metaphor for transparency in the government. Bear with me, folks. Politicians, like these backyard nudists, have this habit of letting everything hang out, metaphorically, of course, while pretending that it's totally normal. Meanwhile, the rest of us, like the pool guy, are just trying to do our jobs without getting traumatized. So here's my advice to all you backyard exhibitionists. Communication is key. If you're going to air it all out, give the pool guy a heads up, a text, a note, maybe even a little sign on the gate that says, warning, sunscreen optional. Because at the end of the day, I'm here to clean your pool, not taking a free anatomy lesson. Let's keep our roads clear, shall we? So that's it for this episode of The Pool Point. Until next time, remember, some things are better left uncovered, like your pool filter, not your, well, you get it. So, thank you for watching. Until next time, just keep swimming. With clothes on, please.
You down with OPP? Yeah, you know me. You down with OPP? Yeah, you know me. You down with OPP? Yeah, you know me. Who's down with OPP? Every last homie. You ever go swimming? Man, it's so much fun. Now we got a podcast joining everyone. Talking about pools, the stories we share. From backyard splashing to Olympic fair. We got chlorine, pH, and filter tips. Keep your pool fresh, avoiding no slips. With hosts so cool and guests so neat. We're dropping pool knowledge that it can't be beat. You down with OPP? Only Pools Podcast. You down with OPP? Only Pools Podcast. You down with OPP? Only Pools Podcast. You down with OPP? Every last homie. Dive into discussions, no topics too small. From kiddie pools to water parks, we cover it all. We got pool parties and cannonballs too. If it's about water, we talking to you. Interviews with experts and stories to share. From poolside barbecues to water care. We got tips and tricks to keep your pool right. Listen in the morning or at the late night. You down with OPP? Only Pools Podcast. You down with OPP? Only Pools Podcast. You down with OPP? Only Pools Podcast. Who's down with OPP? Every last homie. O is for only, the best place to be. P is for pools, come dive in with me. P is for podcast, we talking weekly. Only Pools Podcast, the one and only. Grab your goggles and your floaties too. Tune in to our show, we got stuff for you. Poolside chats to aquatic news. Only Pools Podcast, you can't refuse. We teach you how to clean, how to keep it clear. The best pool stories that you'll ever hear. From summer fun to maintenance prep. Only Pools Podcast, we're your best bet. You down with OPP? Only Pools Podcast. You down with OPP? Only Pools Podcast. You down with OPP? Only Pools Podcast. Who's down with OPP? Every last homie. You down with OPP? Yeah, you know me. You down with OPP? Yeah, you know me. You down with OPP? Yeah, you know me. Who's down with OPP? Every last homie. Only Pools Podcast. Let's go.